Hey, Mark here, and I have a fun promotion for you. I have the first season of NCIS Tony and Ziva up for grabs, and if you'd like to win a copy, a DVD copy, just shoot me a message like, Mark, I love NCIS, but I don't have Paramount Plus, so I can't watch it. So I would love a DVD copy so I can see what Tony and Ziva have going on in the NCIS world, because the show, it's huge, it's popular, and I love these characters, so I'd love a DVD. So yeah, just shoot me a message and let me know if you'd like to win a copy.
Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me, Megan Hoffmeyer.
Sarah Newworth, DJ Valentine, Billy Business, and Brandon Peters. This is Nandi Velazquez. This is Nathan Leahy. It's David Cross. It's Jake Lewitt. Norbert Morvan. It's Lisa Leahy. Joey Lewandowski. John Levingood. Professor Mike Dillon. Nick Riak. Niall Moore. Eric Hoffmeyer. It's Johnny Nunn.
Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is someone who really loves it when they have to saw off their own foot. It's Lisa Leahy.
I do. I love having to do that. I have one leg that's shorter than the other, and it's, that was before I sawed off my foot. Now I'm just really antagonizing the problem.
How many times have you been captured and have to saw off a piece of your left leg?
This year?
Yeah.
I mean, 3, I think.
And for the first time, Jigsaw saw you jaywalking.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, you ordered a coffee with almond milk. They put real milk in it. And then you're like, oh, hey, I asked for almond milk. And Jigsaw had to wait for them to make you a new coffee. Mm-hmm. And he was so angry about that he captured you again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's like,
you can't keep a man waiting for coffee. It's not okay.
You kept me from my order. And I was 3 minutes late. I missed the bus.
Yeah.
The car drove by and splashed me with water.
I deserved that.
Now you're going to have to cut off your leg with coffee beans.
I just keep getting shorter.
Jigsaw. So, okay. I once had to write so we're doing the Saw franchise, all of it.
Yes. Not today.
Not today, but in the series, it's going to be a ride.
Yes.
This is a franchise. I had to, for Rotten Tomatoes, I've twice had to go through the whole thing. And I wrote an article like, all are Saw movies better when like a Saw is involved? And yes, Saw films in which something is sawed off completely. They have there's only 2 of them, Saw and Saw 10, and they have a 65% average. There's only one Saw movie with a fresh tomato meter score. Not that that means anything, but they have much higher IMDb scores. But like I've like watched this and I figured out what Saw is it? Is it a hand saw? Is it a bone saw? Is something sawed off? Like I analyzed every bit of sawing in this. Are hacksaws? Does a saw kill somebody? Like I know this film. Saw films in which a saw is used on Jigsaw. Whenever I see this article, it makes me happy that I got paid twice.
It's so good
to write this because it's insane.
Yeah.
And then for Film Theory, Matt Pat had me go through the entire franchise, pull notes on every single kill. Who are the what are the disciples, the acolytes that help him out? How do you not get picked? How do you survive? What do you do? I'm like, this franchise becomes so convoluted, but today we're just going to act like we just walked out of Saw in 2004 and we're just going to talk about that first film. But like, Jigsaw is not consistent. All right. This guy's like, you didn't live your life. So now you were a great nurse who understood patients and had a lot of empathy, but you didn't want to become a doctor. So you got to capture these guys, and then you gotta murder his family if he doesn't murder a guy. So because you were a empathetic nurse on the front lines, working hard, just doing a necessary job, but you weren't a doctor, so you're gonna have to murder this guy's innocent family. Man,
yeah,
he's the worst.
It's weird, the whole thing with that's interesting to mention that poor Zepp. Poor Zepp. Like, what the hell did he actually do?
So I jumped to the end of the movie, but I don't care.
That's okay. I love this movie. And I will absolutely defend it to the end of the days. I will defend Saw 2, Jigsaw, and Saw X. I will make allowances for Saw 3 and a little bit of Saw 4 if I'm feeling generous, but only in the way that it works with Saw 3. After that, no. But a lot of people dismiss these movies, and I think it's unfair that they dismiss these movies because they're a lot more intelligent and interesting than they're given credit for. And I always laugh because, you know, people talk about how demented the Saw movies are. And I'm like, have you guys not seen Final Destination? Because that started first. And the way people are killed in those movies is just as demented as the way people are killed in the Saw films. But
those movies
I
exist so people can cheer to watch people die.
yes.
So at least the Saw films, they come up with like a BS reason why the killer does what he does, but at least you understand why he does what he does.
Yeah, you have to appreciate your life, and that's fair. Most people don't. Most people are kind of sleepwalking through life. A lot of us have been through there.
Yeah.
A lot of us have had that thing. I mean, we're very simply like, how did I get to work today? You sort of drove on autopilot. And sometimes we're autopiloting through life and just trying to get to Friday or trying to get to a particular vacation or whatever. And, you know, Jigsaw is here to say, hey, you need to appreciate the time you have because it's short and you don't actually know how much of it you've got.
Yesterday, you didn't look at the sunset that was rising above your apartment. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to burn your face off. Like, we're going to blind you. If you can stare into the lights and blind yourself, then you can live and you can approve. Wait, so you're going to blind?
But you'll never appreciate the sun again.
Yeah. So what am I going to appreciate?
I don't know.
You're going to appreciate. We'll burn one eye out. One.
There you go. See, only one.
One. Oh, okay. Good. I'll do one. That's fine. That sounds good. Okay.
You can live with one eye.
One eye. Left or right. But what if I'm at a baseball game and a ball hits my left? I don't have my right. I don't have my left anymore. Okay. All right, just leave. I appreciate this. You know.
I mean, my mom has a prosthetic eye.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so she already exists with only one eye. So she's doing just fine.
Jigsaw. But you know, this movie, I think this movie should be celebrated too, because James Wan and Leigh Whannel are two of my favorite directors and producers on the planet.
Same.
These guys came out of Australia. They had $30,000 to spend on the film. So they went and made a short. And they had a script that they liked, and they tried to get it made in Australia. They realized they couldn't do it. So they go to LA. They don't have a lot of money. Some people gave them some bills. Leigh Whannel gave $5,000 to make a short film based on the script's jaw trap scene. And then they flew to Los Angeles, and they actually shot it with people who worked at the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. And then they fly to Los Angeles with this short and a script. And like, I love that they shot the short with like a 60mm camera, 2 days. They put it on DVDs. They fly over here. They meet two dudes who have to put up a second mortgage on their headquarters to make this. They give them like $1 million. They're like, okay, guys, you have 18 days. But somehow they land Cary Elwes, Danny Glover, Dina Meyer, like a really good cast. Yep. Two people from Lost. Glover completed his scenes in 2 days. You know, Elwes was there for, you know, a week. And like, they didn't get enough footage. So when people complain about all the footage and flashbacks, they're like, we didn't have any footage. So we just cut up newspaper clippings and stuff like that. We cut the surveillance cameras. We cut the still photography within the film. And then they just did what they had to do to make this 90-minute movie. And it makes $100 million. So like, this is what indie filmmaking is all about. And, you know, they had a couple films that weren't great, and then they bounced back with the $1 million Insidious. These two are like, you know, I deeply admire them for what they've done. And even if some people don't like the Saw franchise, the Conjuring franchise, Insidious franchise, these guys are out here. I think they're Malignant's like one of my favorite movies. But they make these funhouse movies, and they make these interesting films. And I love, well, Wolfman's bad, sorry. But I like
Wolfman that one bugged me.
He didn't even want to make that, Leigh Whannel. I read the interviews.
He's like, tell.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, I think he was just like, okay, I can get this greenlit, so I'll go do it. I think Blumhouse was like, yo, do us a solid. He's like,
God.
Like,
Invisible Man was so good, and you could tell that he was into it. And then this one, he was just lazy. He wanted nothing to do with this one.
Nothing to do with it. And you know, he even said with Wolfman that he was like, you know, I couldn't match how great it was, so I just did something else. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. But going back to Saw, I mean, this should be celebrated. I mean, Twisted Pictures started. This movie's not as gory as people think. It's shot on the fly, shot really quick by two dudes who just came out of Australia for 18 days, making this visually interesting film. And, you know, in 2004, the chase and that terrible parking garage, and but it's all part of the aesthetic. And I think it's charming with how grimy and 70 it is. and it kicked off something new, and I love that about it.
It was shocking. I mean, you don't get horror movies that completely blow people's head off, no pun intended.
Like
Like this,
Sing, poor Sing.
like yes. These you just don't have this kind of experience in the theater where you are just so blown away by this one simple thing. I this is the only movie that I watched in the theater twice on the same day. I've seen a lot of movies in the theater more than once. Like I remember Hereditary coming out and I couldn't shut up about it, so I had to go back and see it again in the same week. But this in the same day. I had a friend who was afraid of clowns, and we saw the trailers, and she's like, I don't know if I can see this. And I said, well, I'll go and then I'll let you know and we'll come back or whatever. And I got in the car and I called her. I'm like, you need to get here now. We're seeing the 4:30 show. I'm like, I have to see this movie again. It was incredible. And I still get that like little adrenaline lift when I listen to the Charlie Clouser cut from the end of the film. That Hello Zepp cut is just so good. It's one of my favorite movie score tracks.
And
it's too incredible.
Game over. Everyone just goes, oh! Like I went with my buddy Johnny Party, and I have I have Johnny Numb, I have Johnny Party, but I wanted to pick up my buddy Johnny Party and just run around the theater with him because that's such a strong. When the dude just wakes up, and I think the effectiveness of Saw is the ending. Like it's a very effective movie. The reverse bear trap. What would you do? The escape room aesthetic. The guy in the barbed wire. The reverse bear trap is great.
The candle, like the guy who's got the highly flammable goo all over him. It's like, ooh.
I think you. So okay, we're gonna get back. I want to write. So Paul,
we're all over the place already.
That's what we do. And we're both teachers. So like we're organized all day. Let's have some fun.
This is true. I'm on vacation.
So like Razor Wire, the first guy, Paul, he attempted suicide. This is how stupid Jigsaw is. You go to this homeward bound clinic that his wife was at. We don't know this yet. We're just talking about Saw. But he goes, you committed suicide, but I don't think you really tried to. So I think you just wanted attention. So if you want to die, you can die. If not, you got to crawl through razor wire. Yep. And you're just, maybe the guy was in a lot of pain. Maybe he wasn't, maybe it was a cry for help. Right. But Jigsaw's like, you're a bitch. You just wanted attention. Like, he's being very regressive in that turn. And you're like, geez, Jigsaw. And then we have Mark, who goes in the flammable jelly. He's like, you faked being sick, but I saw pictures of you. You were out. So you're covered in flammable jelly, have to walk on glass, and you're going to burn to death.
Yeah, that guy was bad. It was like, at least the dude who tried to take his own life. It was like, all right, he's suffering a bit. This guy was just a dick. Yeah. And it was just like, oof. All right, now he's really being punished. He's probably like one of the worst guys in the franchise now that I think about it.
And he's not going to escape this.
No, not that one.
No, he's done. And then you have Amanda and Donnie. Mm-hmm. Donnie's unconscious. All Amanda has to do is like, what did Donnie do? No one knows what Donnie did.
Yeah, we never find out about him.
So Amanda just slaughters him. He's like, you were addicted to drugs. Now you have. But you know what's crazy? It's like, hey, you need to live. You're going to appreciate life after this. Mm-hmm. But Amanda is a former drug addict who's going to be, getting sober, living like your entire life. You got to be dealing with that sobriety and the urges. But you also have to deal with the fact that you dug into a man's stomach, pulled his guts out, ripped a key out, and cut off a reverse bear trap. You're going to have PTSD for the rest of your life.
You would think.
You're going to appreciate life, but you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. And we don't need it. We'll get into Amanda later.
For sure.
And then Jeff, no one knows what Jeff did. He's on a drill chair. Zepp's a nice dude. Like, he's like, but you have an inferiority complex. Maybe he's just a great nurse. Mm-hmm. Like maybe he grew up rough and he has self-doubt. That's like, it's like this guy could have
script problems. There's a couple of issues.
But no, I like that Jigsaw is like, you did, but Jigsaw never thinks like, oh, maybe Zepp grew up rough and he pulled himself up and now he's a wonderful nurse. Yeah. But he's like, no. And then
he had to have done something though. Like he had to. Do you think he's like pocketing medications or something, or like swiping stuff from the patients?
I mean, it's not The Pit, but it's.
I haven't watched all of season 2 yet.
Nice. But yeah, so you have like Lawrence Gordon. He's just a doctor. He's like, yeah, you did, whatever. I'm just a doctor.
Oh my god.
And then he was gonna cheat, but he's like, no, I'm not gonna cheat.
Yeah,
He's
but
a
he
jerk.
has. I think
Yeah.
he has
Oh
in the
yeah.
past.
Yeah,
So it's like this is not the first time.
he's a dirtball. And then Adam's a little scuzzy guy, just takes photos. I mean, that's his
Mhm.
job. But all these dudes just die. Like I feel like
Yes.
there's worse people out there on this planet. Like he's
These are the guys who are local, though. You got to start local.
yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
you can't be traveling all over the place. The guy has
Yeah, he's
cancer. He
not
has to
Yeah,
stay
I guess
nearby.
Dexter had to do the same thing too.
See?
So, but I just love how there's a scene in this movie where Dr. Lawrence Gordon goes, "Well, he's not really killing people." It's like, bro, bro, he's killing people.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing. Like that was the big to do.
Yeah.
Like you get with a bunch of nerds and you argue about like, well, he's not really a killer. Like he's not because he's not actually doing the killing. I don't know why I became like weird valley guy. But like it's
Stay
just
in that character.
dude, this just is not. You just don't get it,
Bro.
bro. You
Yeah.
don't get it, bro. I don't do that well. But anyway, this idea is like he's not actually the person killing them. He's setting it up. And, you know, those people, first of all, who would, but those people could just sit there and wait for death to take them. They wouldn't have to wait more than an hour or two. But nobody's going to do that. So, of course, that would be a real boring movie. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the poor guy sitting on the other side of the razor wire and the guy and the candle's eventually going to burn down, I guess. But and poor Amanda. Ugh, I don't want to think about what would happen if she had just sat and let it happen. But I wonder if she had sat and let it happen, if like the dude, what would you say, Donnie? Like would he would have woken up? Would it have worn off? Would it like what would have happened to him? Because her bear trap doesn't go off or the timer doesn't begin until she stands up. So if she had sat there patiently, like they would have woken up, he could have helped her out of there.
Yeah. Hey, Donnie, you have a key in your belly, but we're not going to deal with that. Just help
stick
me
your
get out
finger
of
down
this
your
chair.
throat.
Yeah. Barf it up. Like, I don't do something. So I think this movie gets more interesting when there's the games later on when a guy has to like pick who to kill.
Right.
I think there are some decent ideas, and Saw 2 is a good one too, just watching that.
Oh, but I love that one.
But I think this movie, the main reason this movie I think took off is because, it was the post Scream world. I think Scream had died off a little bit.
Yes.
And like this one was kind of introduced when there were like Rob Zombie movies, Eli Roth movies. And I think it was kind of aggressive, but I don't think it's fair for it to get lumped in because, it took off because that, like, for lack of a better term, torture porn was popular. But it wasn't that. The first film wasn't that. It's almost like the Psycho effect where you think you feel like you watched Lawrence Gordon saw off his foot. People thought they saw red in Psycho, but it was black and white. So
well, it's like Texas Chainsaw. You think you see gore, and there's none.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw
it's minimal here.
Is like a psychological thriller. Like everyone went through hell on that movie, and you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this one is more of a interesting 7/ torture / cat and mouse detective story.
I'm all in for that. I think 7 is a perfect movie.
Yeah,
this is not a perfect movie, but I love and I love how like roped into it you get. Yeah. Like even though the acting is not great, I don't care. Like it's just it's so entertaining. You worry about Dr. Gordon's little girl and like what's going on there and what like you just love the mystery. And then forget it with that ending, you lose your mind because nobody thinks of that. And you're right, it was post Scream. This was when we were dealing with all of the WB horror, right? Like you had like The Faculty and Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which is like a Lois Duncan ripoff, and those kinds of things. And then this comes along. I mean, the only thing that came before this, I think, that was really making any waves was the Final Destination movies.
Yeah.
Like I think we had 1 and 2 before Saw released. And that was it as far as like exciting horror. And then this blows up and then you get Hostel. And like you said, Rob Zombie's Halloween and people get into the torture porn stuff. But I don't know. I get so excited when a movie surprises me the way this did.
And this movie it's an adult horror movie. If you think like there's not really any kids. The villain is an old dude who's just grumpy. It's, and you talk about the acting. Cary Elwes, I remember watching this in the theater and just going, Cary Elwes does not got the juice in this movie. I was like, Leigh Whannel was like, this guy does not have the juice. But I do like when he fakes dying. That's very funny. And I do like his murder with the toilet lid. Yes. But I think what I liked the movie was James Wan's visuals. Just that car chase where people are clearly just sitting in a car, but the way Wan films it and just the overall griminess of it and the shot selection of it and the Billy the puppet, the pig masks, and you want to play a game. This one, I don't know. I think it's like it felt pretty kinetic and alive in a way that James Wan can only do. And I think that's what attracted me, plus the ending. I think if the ending wasn't as strong, I don't know if I would have loved the movie.
Agreed.
But like the ending just crushes it. And so you walk out of the theater, you know, it's interesting. If that ending didn't nail it, I don't think people would walk out the theater as thrilled. But when that ending happens, everyone walking out of the theater was like, holy crap, like, yo, you got to see that. So it's like, it's just, I don't know. And the way it got made, the way it got funded, the way it happened, I think is interesting. I think that's like a neat, like, I don't know. I dig that about this movie. And I think the flaws are what makes it fun. I think when the franchise got a little bit more polished later on, it had more time, a little bit bigger budgets, it suffered.
Agreed.
Because
Yeah.
this movie's got a little personality to it.
Yeah, it's got that, like you said, it's got that grittiness. It's got that indie element. You know, it's the fact that the whole thing takes place in like this one room, this one hallway, this kind of thing. And, you know, I agree with you. I think what's cool about it, and I think another reason why the ending was so incredible is because people who try to solve the mystery, who are trying to figure, like actively trying to catch up with it, were picking things out along the way, right? Like, so I think specifically about as they're looking around the room, we're looking around the room and there's like that heart drawn on the toilet tank. And when Gordon and Adam hear the little whisper of Jigsaw saying, follow your heart, we're like, oh, toilet tank, before they do. So we're feeling all smart and, you know, smarmy and like, oh, we've got this all figured out. And then nobody comes up with the ending. Like, that's what I think is so cool. Like, oh, he can use the poison in the cigarette to poison Adam. Like, people were picking up on these along the way and we're like, oh, cool, I got this. And then to still be surprised by it,
That's a
I
great
think is
point.
what's incredible about it. And I think that's why people love it. Like, because we thought that they were just lame storytellers. It's like, we're like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, okay, I figured all this stuff out. Okay, just another one of those. And then it was like, no, all the way along, we knew you were figuring that stuff out. We handed that stuff to you because we knew the big one was coming.
That's the smart thing to do. Like, put clues that people can find. And then while they're looking for the clues, they'll miss the giant bloody body laying just there.
Exactly.
And I think that was, that's a very clever misdirect too. You know, we were living in a world that was just 5 years removed from Sixth Sense. So I think people were looking for twists. Twists were big. I remember when the others came out, there's just twists everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, let's twist again, like we did last one. But yeah, there's just twists everywhere. And, you know, I watched Sixth Sense in a movie theater that summer. And I knew nothing about it. I saw it the Thursday night when I was working at a theater and it just blew my mind.
I never saw it coming either.
I was like, what? And like, there's something neat about that. Like, there's just something neat about building an entire film to where you just completely miss the twist. And I like that about this. And I think what it showed was like Wan was a unique guy and he had a unique sensibility. And I think it showed that like Whannell, where I know he acted, but he also wrote the thing. And I think they care deeply about, and also too, they care deeply about the project. It's
agreed.
I don't think it's well written. Danny Glover's character, he's obsessed with Lawrence Gordon and
he's kind of a mess.
You know,
it's like, how did they get them? How do you get Danny Glover and like Cary Elwes? Like, how?
Well, they offered Cary Elwes like a point, like a percentage of the gross plus his stock SAG payment, but then they didn't pay it. Then they paid him later in a court thing. That's why he came back. But I think all these guys, that's what, you know, early Blumhouse was like, yo, come for 2 days. We'll give you a point. We'll put you on the poster and you'll get like a percentage of the box office. And they got a big percentage of the box office.
On the poster.
Yeah, exactly. Great poster, by the way.
Because that was the whole thing, right? Like, you remember getting ready to go see this movie and people like, you're going to go see a movie about a guy sawing his foot off? Yeah. That's what we all remember. It was all about a guy is trapped in a room and he has to saw off his own foot in order to get free.
The movie's name is Saw.
Yeah.
It's great.
We were all like, yeah, ready for it.
What's the movie Saw about? A foot is sawed off.
That's it. What else happens? Don't care.
The Princess Bride saws his foot off. You're like,
the Dread Pirate Roberts saws off his own foot.
Danny Glover's in this? Like,
yeah.
The two guys
from
Lost.
His foot off?
Like, how many Lost? Yeah, does he? How many saws are all the feet sawed off? Does Monica Potter saw her foot off? Like, what?
Oh my God! Right?
Who's? It's like just, are they in a circle? Like, what kind of saw is it? Like, and so I love that
Do
she's
they
called
saw
Saw.
off their own foot, or do they saw someone else's foot off?
There's so many ways you could saw something, you know? And that, you know what's great about Saw too is like they listen, they drove themselves into a corner. They've put themselves in a corner with Jigsaw dying and then having 18 acolytes and then there's flashbacks and flashbacks in this movie.
Yes.
Like I think it's some of these movies are like 95% flashbacks, but
Yes.
there's a legit flashback and a flashback. And you're like, what? But
It's like, don't look at your phone. Thank God this was before cell phones.
and you know what's kind of nice is this is not a high concept. Okay, people are locked in there and they got to play a game, but that's it. But it seems like a high concept movie. But Lisa, if you had to sit there and explain this plot in depth to your students, could you do it?
Yes.
All right, let's hear.
But so I don't want to. Like, what do you mean explain the plot?
All right, so like
I love
not a high level, but like, all right, so we got this guy Jigsaw, but like,
so I have to explain it to them to like make them interested in seeing it?
but his doctor is this guy who's
Or you
cheating.
want me to summarize it?
But then this guy at the hospital who saw him, who was a patient of him, and he was talking about him.
See, that won't come up until later. You
Oh.
can't bring up Zepp until later, right? You talk about like this guy and this other guy. These two guys wake up in a bathroom, like this grungy bathroom. And it turns out that they've been kidnapped by this serial killer who's out there going after people. And the two of them are chained and they are given, you know, I don't know what kind of saw it is. Is it a hacksaw? I don't know what kind of hacksaw.
Yeah.
Thank you. They're given hacksaws. Like the suggestion is they have to cut off their own feet to get out. But then it turns out that, you know, one of them is a cancer doctor and his wife and daughter are being held for ransom until he kills the other dude. And then you find out that like the other dude has actually been paid to take pictures of the doctor guy because he's cheating on people. And then it comes out that there's another layer to it because the person who was kidnapped, his wife and his daughter, is one of the orderlies at his hospital.
Is he a bad guy?
Yes.
Or is he a bad? He was a good guy until he became a bad guy. Or was he a bad guy? Okay.
We don't know why.
I'm a student. I'm a student.
He just is a bad guy.
Okay.
We don't know why.
Okay.
They left that out. That got on the cutting room floor.
Why is there a puppet?
That one makes no damn sense.
Why do they wear a pig mask?
There really is no sense to the puppet for sure. Yeah, the pig mask also doesn't make any damn sense. I think that was just what was on sale at the costume shop. There's no rationale for any of it.
I love it when I try to explain a movie and then I stop. Like I did an episode with Norbert about the movie Fled, and I was trying to explain it. And I was like, I can't do it.
Fled.
I was like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, I can't.
Yeah, there comes a point where you just stop. It's an experience, not a story.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street. All right, so these kids are attacked in their dreams by a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but like so these guys are locked in a room, and they gotta. All right, I don't even want to.
They have to find a way to escape, otherwise, that his wife and daughter are going to be killed.
There it is. Hey,
and they have to follow the rules.
Okay, so the rules.
Yes.
I had to I wrote this episode for Film Theory. You guys can watch it. I don't know if you checked it out. It's at like 7.9 million views, which is kind of awesome.
Nice.
But I figured out how to avoid being picked for a game. Do you want me to hear all my reasons?
Yes, I love this.
And this is going to be, it's very long. Right.
Okay.
Do not be in a position to be framed by a corrupt cop.
No, that would be bad.
Because corrupt cops do frame people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do not be a corrupt doctor who has extramarital affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Do not
be a corrupt doctor for that, or just don't have extramarital affairs?
So I'm going. Do not be a corrupt doctor. Do not have extramarital affairs. If you're anybody, do not be a prostitute. Do not be a drug addict. Do not be a corrupt city planner, journalist. Basically, don't be a corrupt employee. Right?
Yes.
Do not be suicidal. Do not be a bad boyfriend or girlfriend, or friend, or significant other. Do not take antidepressants. Oops. And this one's easy. Do not be a rapist. Do not be inactive. Like, don't like say, I want to go to Maui and then never go, right? Live your life. Do not be someone who incorrectly labels someone's x-rays. Be good at do your job well.
Yes.
But if your job is to like be a lawyer and gentrify areas, which pushes people out, which kills people,
then don't be good at your job.
Yeah. And like, just don't even have that job. But if you don't have a job, that means you're not trying.
Right.
Which means you're going to get caught. All right.
I'm already caught two or three times here.
Do not be a corrupt cop who is obsessed with catching Kramer. He doesn't like that.
Yes.
Okay. Do not be a corrupt cop at all. And actually, do not be a good cop who wants to catch Kramer, because they get killed too.
Don't try and stop the people trying to Go after all these people.
Do not be a family member or employee of someone Kramer dislikes.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
So like if you're a jerk doctor, your family's targeted.
Yeah.
Right. And then I wrote something. This is like
don't know any of the above listed people.
Yeah, like he's like, I don't kill, but he's fine. And it's also he's fine with his accomplices murdering people, which is weird. And then like he often tells cops that they're too obsessed with catching him.
Yes.
But if the cops don't try to catch him,
they're not good at their jobs.
So then he's gonna catch him. I'm a serial killer. I'm killing people. You turned a blind eye because you're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a trap. But if you're a good cop who tries to catch me, I got to put you in a trap.
But none of this is in the first film.
No, but I just want to get that out there.
And that's why some of those later films become problematic, because the rules get broken and they're getting bent and people are messing around with the games. And that's when I start getting angry.
So you're like, wait, is it okay if I eat almonds because they use a lot of water to grow? Like,
I mean, I think it's better to eat almonds than to use AI. As far as water usage goes, I think that would be more forgiven.
What if you use AI to grow almonds?
No, that's not okay. That's way too much water. It's way too much at that point.
You're using power and water then. So I had to get that out there because the people in this movie, it's like, don't I don't, to not be caught. I feel like you should be like, I'm going to start my dream of opening a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to push anybody out of the building. Like I'm not going to knock down a health clinic. I'm not going to put it where a health clinic used to be. All right. I'm going to do it in I'm going to find a spot, like a shop closed down. It's open up for lease. I'm going to move in there. It's already been built.
Yes.
Right. No one's getting pushed out. I'm going to have fair trade beans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a little bit more expensive, but
because you got to pay for the fair trade.
For every cup of coffee I sell, I'm going to dedicate a cheaper coffee to like shelters. So like buy a coffee, but I can't give like Ethiopian single origin beans coffee to like everybody. So I'm going to be like, listen, the coffee's fair. It's good, but I'm going to dedicate a cheaper blend that I get sustainably to people. Mm-hmm. And so you do that. And then you're like, my prices are fair. My donuts are good. I don't lie to people. I am honest. I serve people quickly, and my dream is to do this. And maybe I want to branch out. So like, but I feel like if I put a coffee lid on that isn't secure and he burns himself, I'm dead.
I don't know about that. I feel like that's user error. I think you're okay there.
I think, is Kramer past that though? Like,
I think he's beyond that.
Okay.
Although I think if you screw up his order, you might have trouble. If you misspell his name on the cup, you might be, because you're not paying attention to him.
So what I'm going to do is on every order, there's going to be a computer, and we're going to type that information. It's going to go.
No, we just said no AI.
Okay.
You can't have the computers.
Hi, I'm Mark. What's your name? John. Nice to meet you, John. I'll write it on the cup.
John,
what would you like for your order? Oh, I would like a blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm going to write this on the cup. Mm-hmm. Here you go. Your order is correct.
Yes.
That's going to, I'm going to have like lines out the door. I take so long to get people coffee.
That's where you got to hire people, or you get like student interns.
But what if one day I don't have the bagel he wants?
Well, that's understandable.
What
he sold the last bagel to somebody? I mean, you're his favorite coffee shop. He's going to understand.
So I got to keep the bathroom clean. Yes. I can't have him slip.
Well, that's a given. Because this is what happens when you have a dirty bathroom. He puts people in it and he changes them to pipes. So if you have a clean bathroom, he's not going to want to put people in your bathroom.
Yeah. I like
that was a given.
Yep. Keep a clean bathroom.
Yes.
Just be kind.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be related to any jerk. So if you have an uncle who's doing some shady business, be like, listen, uncle, I don't want to get caught by a serial killer and like killed because of you, because you're doing shady business.
I need both of my feet today.
And I'm going to be really honest with my taxes too. So like when I do the beans and stuff, like I'm going to be very open about the payment.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have to give health insurance to my employees because be like, you don't give health employees and insurance to your employees.
I mean, if you've got a guy who was a cancer patient, he's really going to appreciate that you make sure your employees have good health insurance.
Yeah. And so I'll take care of them. And I'll be like, listen, it's expensive because we take care of our people.
Absolutely.
And I'll have a banner up. We love you, but this is why our coffee prices are expensive.
I mean, you get what you pay for. You want good coffee, you're going to pay a little extra.
That's the name of my coffee shop. You get what you pay for.
There it is. See?
Coffee.
I like that. Yes. You get what you pay for. You get coffee. Dennis Leary would be thrilled. Coffee flavored coffee.
I know that was a long thing, but it's just
It makes sense to me. I followed every word.
Kramer's a maniac.
He is.
But this
It's
movie's
interesting that, like, I don't know. It's like he's a jealous guy. He's jealous
yeah.
because he's dealing, I mean, frankly, I don't blame him, but like he's dealing with this awful disease that's eating him up. And it's like he's jealous that other people have lives that they can still live. And I kind of get it. It's like people pass away, they pass away young, or they just pass away. You feel like you wanted more time. And it's like, well, look at this jerk, like he's robbing people left and right. And all of a sudden he doesn't care. He doesn't appreciate the time that he has. He's not taking care of his kids, or they're not doing, they're being mean to that dog who just walked by. I can kind of get some of it.
He's that, yeah. And I like that oh no, I don't we're not going to talk about him yet. Let's just stay on the first movie.
Yeah, none of that has come about yet, but this is the basic premise of the whole thing.
And I think what makes this movie worth studying for filmmakers is how it got made. They came from Australia with the tapes. They had a short film. They had a good script. One directed it, the other one that people wanted to give them more money.
They saved money. Yeah. They wrote it, they directed it, they were in the movie, or Leigh Whannell's in the movie.
Other studios some money there. Wanted to make this, but like, no, I need to direct, I need to star.
Absolutely.
So they made it. And also too, it starts strong. The first 16 minutes are in the bathroom. In the poop bathroom, people have called it.
Yep.
And then the finale strong. So it's a movie where it's bookended by very strong moments. And I don't think it ever sags because of just the way that Wan directs the thing. I mean, it's just so kinetic. And so I like that it starts strong, it ends strong. And I think people could just feel that it wasn't like a corporate product. I think people could feel that's a little punk rock. It's Agreed. Not punk rock, but I think people could sense that about it. And I watched various, I watched a bunch of video essays about it, and people complain about the editing or the cheapness of it, but they had time for like 1-2 takes. This movie had a $1 million budget, shot in 18 days. Like, this isn't, and it's untested director actors. And so of course this movie is going to be rough around the edges, but I still think it's effective.
I agree.
I like that about it.
That's the charm of it. Like, there's nothing about this movie that should be glossy. There's nothing about it that should be, clean edges and everything, because the locations are gritty. The situations are gritty. The characters are gritty. You want it to be reflective of all that. I don't want some, corporate version of gritty. I actually want this, and it's horror. We're more forgiving. Anybody who's going into a horror film who's expecting perfection is not a horror fan. We show up for everything. It doesn't matter what it is. We can look at a trailer or we can look at a description and we're going to say, that's going to be awful. I can't wait to see it. It's just, we are the most hopeful audience out there because we show up time after time knowing it's going to be terrible and we don't care. And we're like, well, yeah, that sucked. So, okay, I'll go to the next one though. And then you get something like this and it's like, oh, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That one gave me a surprise. And then that's what makes us keep coming back. The idea that somewhere along the way, we're going to have another one of these experiences.
That's a great point. And there's a high that comes from movies like this too.
Definitely.
Where you like, we're walking out of the theater, like, that was fun. That was unique. That was good. And yeah, we do chase that high.
And then I want to see it. It's like, I want to watch somebody else watch it now. That's the thing. Like, that's what's great about horror films. Like, that's what's great about like the Paranormal Activity movies. You go see those in the theater because you can watch everybody else in the theater get all nervous and tense, And so it's like seeing this movie in the theater or showing it to other people. You watch them as the movie is unfolding because you've already seen the trick. So now you want to watch somebody else realize the trick. And that's so entertaining.
Oh yeah, it's so entertaining. And also too, I think it had a great poster, but it cut a great trailer. We talked about how Billy the Puppet's kind of unnecessary, but he looked great in the trailer.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Pigs, the flashing lights when Adam's walking around his apartment, excellent in the trailer. The pig head.
Talk about how simple, the camera flash. It's just so, because again, pre-ubiquitous cell phones, yes, we had cell phones in 2003 and 4, but you weren't using them constantly the way we do now. And so for him to not take his cell phone out of the pocket, but to use the camera flash is amazing. That was so good.
So good. And then the pig mask coming out. Also watching Cary Elwes saw his foot, and then watching I remember the toilet lid was in the trailer, like the physicality of Whannell's performance there, seeing Danny Glover in it. I
Mhm.
think it cut a really good trailer. And so I think Wan put some of those elements in there to toss them in the trailer to make them look interesting. And
Right.
I like that about it. And it's like all around a tight little package that was made smart. And I think
Mhm.
one of my favorite things about movies is when there's just something smart. Like when I watch the
Yes.
production, I'm like, that was smart how they did that. I like how they did. It could be on a movie with an $8 budget or a movie with a $300 million movie budget. Like I love when they do something. I'm like, that was smart.
I like being manipulated by a movie,
Yeah,
which
and this
sounds
movie does
not
it.
good, but yes, I
But
like it when I can't trust you. Like it, and I have, and that's what we do. We sit in a theater and we completely give ourselves over to whoever it is that's telling us the story. And sometimes you see the seams and then it's like, all right, whatever. But it's so much fun when you are manipulated and you never saw it coming.
oh, and it does it. And I normally forget to do this, but I got some really good answers from Facebook from people about
Yeah, you did. I
this
was looking
movie.
at them.
Yeah, they're really good. So I'm gonna read out a couple. So I asked 3 questions. I just put thoughts, favorite moment, and why was it so successful. Johnny Num, our buddy Johnny Num wrote, it walked so its sequels most of them anyway could run. Still enough time had passed in Seven to make its concept seem novel. And he said saw it twice in theaters. And he wrote like in all caps when it goes there with Dr. Gordon's cutting his foot off. And I like what he wrote here. It repurposed the grit and bleak worldview of Seven within a pulpy framework for a generation that had grown tired of self-reflexive horrors that dominated the multiplex during the Scream series initial run.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Billy Boyko, my good friend from high school. I've known him probably since
Aw.
'89. Jeez Louise. Thought it was great, even though I'm not a fan of gore. You know, this movie, it gets a bad
It's
rap.
not, yes.
Exactly. And so he's
It's
not a fan. Yeah.
cringy.
Yeah. It's and like he if you don't like gore, this movie still works. And he wrote
Mhm.
the end reveal was great, the whole scene, the music, everything. You talked about the music. And he wrote it was different and brought something new that they could expand on. When I saw the preview for the second film, I was super excited for a multiple room house scenario. And I was
Yes.
too, because that's a good idea.
I love a locked room mystery. You know, you're going back to Agatha Christie with that kind of stuff. There's something fascinating to a group of people stuck together. What do you do? You know, because you know that becomes, you know, the traps in the house, but it's also going to be how people mess with each other. And there's just something inherently fascinating about that.
The needle scene is worth the price of admission.
See, that's when they really started going at people.
And
Like
you went,
this one, you had the puppet for the whole clown phobia thing, but when you start putting like a pit of needles, now you're definitely going at people's cringe.
I felt some like reflux when I think about that scene.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just randomly thinking about it the other day. But yeah, okay. And then James Donovan wrote, I feel like it's a bit hyperbolic to say hyperbolic, like so hyperbole.
You were right the first time.
Yeah.
Hyperbolic. Yep, you got it.
To say it reinvented the genre, but it kind of did. He loves the big reveal. He's like, I think everyone has a degree of fear that you could be going along in your life and suddenly you're taken and trapped. So
Yes.
I like that answer.
Yes.
And then Aaron Newworth wrote, admire Wan and Whannell, but never been a fan based largely on the script and the performances, but he loves the reverse bear trap. Yeah, reverse bear trap, or whenever Elwes Whannell decide to let's ham it up even more. Like I love when he does the fake death. That's like one of the funniest things
I wonder, like, I feel like Elwes was actually trying to act, whereas Whannell was like, I'm going to be a ham.
Yeah, well, he's just I'm very a limited actor, so I'm just gonna do what I can.
Yes.
And all right, and then 3, it came along at the right time, balancing the perceived notion of getting away with seeing hardcore gore, even though this film isn't especially gory, and a tone and visual sense people thought they liked most about Seven. Never mind the great script. So it came along at the right time. And then this is Allie Maxwell. She wrote a really long one. I'll try to summarize it. But
Yeah,
she loves it. She's like, it's okay. It's one of the absolute best horror movies in existence. Every generation of horror has the huge standout movies. You have your old black and white monsters, you have the Exorcist, you have your slashers, you have your zombies. And Saw came out as a new generation subgenre of horror was arriving: gore, torture, etc., more extreme hardcore. And it wasn't just on the outliers of the genre or the random movie that gets made with that theme. It became a big thing for quite a few years. I would argue that the Terrifier series has helped it stay relevant still. What the first Saw does better than most is that it presents an extremely dark subject with extremely gruesome scenes without being over the top. True.
And that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because like she's remembering this as like torture porn, And this context of enjoying, like watching this film because you enjoy what these characters do to each other, which is really what Hostel is,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
definitely what Terrifier is. And those are films that are not my bag. Like
No.
it's not for me. I understand there's an audience for it. I think what's his name? Oh God, I can't remember his name. David Thornton, the guy who plays Art the Clown. Incredible character. Like this guy has got his thing, but I don't think Saw fits that category, and I think it gets dismissed a lot. But everything else she set up to this point, I'm with her.
I can't stand the Terrifier. They're like just edgelord, cruel nonsense. But I think they get a pass from me though because of how dedicated and how singular they are. They're very committed to the theme, and there's a tone to each of them, which I appreciate.
Yeah,
I just don't like. I think the filmmaking and I think the special effects, and it's just not for me.
Not for me either.
Final Destination though has become this like joyous,
I love
absurd. Yeah, it's just they're just like you just go to the theater to laugh, and that's what this one does. And then she wrote, the tension builds at a slow burn until you've reached the level of anxiety the characters have from the beginning. None of the death scenes are gruesome just to be gruesome. They all make sense. In a lot of ways, Saw resembles Seven. It's a very dimly lit movie with a ton of suspense and a lot of really gross death scenes and a pretty great twist. Saw actually got me twice. Obviously the very end, but also when you find out that the wife's kidnapper also has a tape. Well, yeah, that was pretty gnarly. And then the music comes in. Woo!
Oh, so good.
Yeehaw! It's a fantastic example of superb storytelling mixed with brutal horror elements that never slows down. And then she loves the twists. And then why it's great, it tapped into a guttural fear and thoughts that most people have or currently have. Thoughts on if you're really a good person or not. If I do one bad thing, does that negate all the good I have done, or do I have to pay some sort of penance to rebalance it all? As a woman, I'm always afraid at night alone. I was raised with the thought that it could happen at any second and to always be aware of everything. So that fear was brought to the surface and made real. Just people kidnapping you and then putting you in this thing. It was also very human of a story. It was also very human of a story. Can I do things that go drastically against my beliefs in order to save myself or someone else? Can I be a better person? Could I have been nicer to this person or that person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Right. Like that idea, like what Amanda has to do. Like in order to get this key, you have to dig into this person's stomach. Well, like you think that guy's dead, and then it wakes up and you find out he's actually not dead. He's got like that paralytic element. And then it's like, oh, she never really even stops to consider that. But the rest of us are like, oh God, now we're putting ourselves in his place. And it's like you said before, we don't know what the heck that guy did. And here he is. It's awful. And I think what gets you in this movie, like Ali is saying, is that empathy element. You put yourself in the place of whichever character that you're dealing with at the time. And it's like, could I do this? What the hell was it like to do that? And then it's just awful to think about.
Oh, yeah, it did it. James Wan did it.
Yeah.
And you know what? But like, think about Insidious as well. Insidious, which it's one of my favorite movie franchises ever. Lin Shaye headlined 2 movies that made like a $200 million, like a 7-year-old lead in horror films making $200 million. But I think at its core, the Insidious movies are about good people battling something that's evil. And they move out of their house. But guess what? It follows them. They do.
And that was the perfect part, right? Like, you're in this haunted house, leave the house. And people are like, yeah, you can't get away from it with that.
And so when they leave, everyone went, oh, that's awesome. But the people in Insidious are good people. They're good people. And I think that was something new. And then with The Conjuring, I think just the idea of ghost busting. And I think also Patrick Wilson has been huge for James Wan and Vera Farmiga. I mean, you get the two of them together and they're just good actors. And they are. Never mind what Ed and Lorraine Warren, in real life did. These characters in the film are just open and nice. And they're going out of their way and they're keeping these it was just looking at them as fictional characters, not real life characters.
Right.
But like in this world, in this fiction, they put themselves in danger. They do, like, they've hurt themselves. It's a really interesting concept. And so what Juan has done is like introduce some neat concepts and neat horror franchises that have lived long lives. And then he did Malignant, which is amazing. And one of the greatest movies.
And you've got Whannell writing these films. Like, you think about these characters that are developed. I mean, throw into it now, go Whannell's direction and get into it. The Invisible Man and Upgrade. right? Like
Upgrade!
you've got these two characters who are in these incredibly strange kinds of situations, and you care a lot for them. I mean, Invisible Man is heart-wrenching. I
Oh
mean, you think
man.
about the scene in the restaurant where her
Whoa.
sis, it's like at that point you're just like, oh God, she's screwed.
Yeah, I
Like
just went,
that's a movie where you're really like, she is not going to get away from him, and how scary that is. You know, and we talk about Allie saying how, like, I'm a woman, I'm also a woman, and like these things that you're like, oh God, how would you ever get out of this now? It's like brought to 11. He's very good at, you know, putting you in these people's minds in these situations and making you feel for them.
you're yes, I completely agree. And he directed Insidious 3 as well, which I
Yes.
enjoyed. And like if you think about Upgrade, it does the classic like wife gets killed, but it's
Hmm.
just so bloody and violent, and jaws get ripped off, and Invisible Man went places I didn't think it was going to go. It's more
Oh,
violent than I anticipated, and he hits hard in that, but you also like everybody. And you know, in Upgrade, he lost control of his body, and you're just watching this man go on this horrifying revenge scheme that doesn't end
mhm.
well. And
No.
then Invisible Man, this woman's just completely lost her power, and she's being hunted, and it's horrifying. And yeah, they really do, aside from Wolfman, but they do a
Oh,
good job of.
everybody's allowed to have one
Yeah, he has
awful
death
one.
I didn't like Death Sentence, but I do love Dead Silence.
I
The
liked Dead Silence. I remember just being weird and goofy, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm here for it.
it's a funhouse movie,
Yes.
and I think people missed that you could have fun with it.
Yes.
I was just in Iowa, and they had the 4-book steelbook for like $35 at a
Ooh.
Walmart, and I almost bought it.
Hey.
They actually had the $5 bin there too. Like they don't have $5 bins in Atlanta anymore, but they had a $5 bin
Oh.
there. That made me really happy. But yeah, these guys are successful. I think we did it. What, do we have anything else to talk about for Saw?
I think well, you know what we didn't cover? We didn't cover the fact that John Kramer likes to watch people suffering.
Yeah, he likes to
Like
watch them
we didn't
die.
get into that. Like there's this element here where it's like, oh, he's not getting his hands dirty, but the dude is always watching. Like he's got the cameras everywhere. He's got you know, obviously front row seats. He's got the they discover the hole in the wall with the guy who's got the goo on him and the candle. So it's like this dude is watching these people suffer. So I think he's a bit of a torture hound.
Yeah,
Like it's one thing to set these up and make people appreciate it. It's another to sit there and watch.
if he really wanted people to appreciate things, he would just kidnap them and like saw off your foot, or you're not getting out of here.
Right.
And here's the tourniquet. Here's some solution. You can clean this knife, but do it in an hour, or
Yeah.
you're dead.
I got somewhere to be. I gotta go
Yeah.
get coffee.
And then a clean bathroom, and then they saw
Yes.
it off. They don't know where they are. Just drug them again or something,
Hmm.
dump them somewhere, or like call the cops, and then they'll be like, "Man, I got my foot sawed off because of this," and like, well, I'm alive. That's good. But then
Exactly.
but
Could have been worse.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, he watches and
He watches he's enjoying the suffering somewhere. I feel like I wonder if like an early draft of this went somewhere different and darker, and they decided, let's not do that.
but I think this movie translated around the world well, because when
Mm,
you watch maybe like Italian films or French horror films, they always include a message. There's a
yeah.
environmental message, there's a social message. This movie at least has a killer who is like, enjoy your life. You were bad.
Hmm.
I'm going to teach you to like this. You are a drug
Hmm.
addict. I will put you, what will you do? And I think that is more interesting than rich people torturing people on holiday. And I think that
True.
might play well around the world. I mean, these movies, right? Only Saw 6, which made 70 million, and Spiral during the like COVID made
Ugh.
40 million. But I mean, Saw 10 came back, made 125. Like Jigsaw 104, Saw 3D 133. Like up until like Saw 3 made 163 million, Saw 2 made 152. This movie made 10 million, and the highest budget. These things, none of these movies cost more than $20 million to make.
Hmm.
So it's like cheap to make. You can sell it worldwide because there is some interesting stuff to it. And I don't want to, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about the assistants later. But yeah, this hour flew by. This was awesome, Lisa.
Yeah, I agree. I have a lot of fun chatting about this stuff.
Jeez Louise. See, I like series. I'm telling you. And then the second one will be easier because we have a base already.
Oh, that one's got so much exciting stuff in it too.
The
Yeah,
neat
the
and that
second one is just so good.
that lady sticking her hands up through that knife
Oh,
thing.
yes. Yeah, that one's a bad one.
The Needle Pit.
Well, we got to hold on to that one. We can't
Yeah.
do that yet.
Yeah, we can't do it yet. All right. So Lisa, where can people find you?
I'm actually kind of on hiatus at the moment, so I think you
Oh,
kind
that
of
sounds
can't find
great.
me anyway. Yeah, I get too much stuff going on, so I sort of had to step back for a bit. So I'm just making periodic appearances on other people's podcasts, like Movies, Films, and Flicks, and the Lambcast here and there. In fact, I'm going to be on the Lambcast episode for Mortal Kombat 2, which is going to be pretty soon. So depending on when this releases, you can go back and find that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, check out Rabbit Hole Podcasts at rabbitholepodcast.com. There is a slew of shows there, all kinds of things you can find, depending on what your tastes are. And yeah, I mean, I'll get back to it eventually. It's just I got way too much going on.
I need a hiatus, but I won't.
Nope.
I say I need a hiatus, and I booked 7 episodes.
This is the fun stuff, though. You want to keep this if you can.
Yeah, no, I'm not stopping this. I'm so far in it with MFL. I mean, we're number 1 in Paraguay right now.
There it
We're
is.
number
So you
1
don't
in
want to
Hong Kong.
disappoint. You can't disappoint your fans.
That's right. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining me, Lisa. It's always a pleasure. And this episode was recorded, so it won't be like our mother episode. And
oh God.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Lisa Leigh, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.